Hey, you want to see something really scary?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to Fright Night.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Shad.
This week, we watched Presents.
What's it like?
What's what like?
I never had anybody die.
Scary. And it goes on.
What do you mean?
Like, the world cracks apart. You fall into this hole. And the sides are mud, and you can't get out. And you wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.
Should I have said Steven Soderbergh, 5-time Academy Award winner, Steven Soderbergh's Presents. Should maybe?
No, I think you got it fine.
Okay. The people out there need to know. What's it? Oh, should I have said from the creator of Magic Mike, Presents? I could keep going.
He's done a lot of things.
He has done a lot of things.
You're going to know Steven Soderbergh mostly from the Ocean's 11.
Steven Soderbergh, Logan Lucky's.
Oh, you haven't seen that, and I love that movie.
Oh no, I wasn't saying anything bad. Also, writer David
Koepp.
David Koepp, writer of Death Becomes Her,
Jurassic Park 2,
Jurassic Park Lost World.
That was
Presents.
Jurassic Park 2.
Oh, that was part 2. My bad. Presents. There you go.
So these guys have done some things.
They do a little bit of things.
And I feel like they okay for money.
They all right.
So they can do what they need to do when they want to do it.
Creator of Contagion, Steven Soderbergh, Presents. Okay, so we're in that. So we, just like Long Legs, probably not as much, but there's, people are talking, and people are like, they can't finish watching the movie in Sundance. They leave and oh goodness, I couldn't do it. They had to leave. People are saying this is so scary. And you know what Steven Soderbergh is good at? He's good about the human condition. He's all about that. Sexuality. He has many layers. He likes to delve into, those things. And you think, when I first saw that this was, I was like, okay, this seems intriguing as hell. No one, surprisingly, really, no one's done a POV from a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even say the movie Ghost is POV because you see Patrick Swayze. It's not from his point of view.
Just called Ghost Story. Isn't that from the point of view of the ghost, though?
I don't know. That movie doesn't exist right now in this conversation because I'm trying to prove a point. I actually heard that movie was fantastic. We did not see this film, the Ghost Story. It's probably from the POV, but you know what? It's not like this. That I'm gonna say it's not like it. And then I'm like, my other thought was like, how could this be a horror movie? This is not gonna be a thing. Like, that's weird. Like Magic Mike's. Magic Mike guy is doing a ghost movie? Okay.
He did a movie in the early 90s called Kafka. It's really good with Jeremy Irons, Alec Guinness, Ian Holm.
Is it about a ghost?
No, but it is very creepy.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I haven't seen it.
It's one of those kind of dystopian type. The whole movie's in black and white until they go into a certain part of the
Kafka
world.
Like metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, of course it's going to be creepy. No, I don't want to see that.
They go into a certain part of this building and then it becomes color.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. It doesn't get seen very often, but it's pretty good.
Did I say that he's won 5 Academy Awards? Not 1, not 2, not 3. 5. Okay? So...
What did he win 5 for?
For a lot of movies. Magic Mike. I'm sure Magic Mike won an Academy Award.
Yeah, did not win an Academy Award.
Contagion won an Academy Award. It doesn't matter what he won the Academy Awards for. He did win 5 Academy Awards. Okay?
Okay.
Now, crazy things. This movie is loosely based on Steven Soderbergh's own house.
Okay.
Okay? The nanny has said she has seen a ghost that lives there. Okay? And I guess it's like a thing where... I don't want to say they're being terrorized. And Steven Soderbergh is okay with that. Do you want to know why he's like chill with the thought of there being a ghost in his house? Not because it's going to give him an idea later on to make a ghost movie. Because his mother was a parapsychologist. So he grew up in that world. So, I mean, 5-time Academy Award winning Steven Soderbergh. Mom, parapsychologist. So God, the knowledge he must have that his mom probably has told him his whole life, when she was on this earth. Maybe she's the ghost in the house. Who knows? But he's comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And he will show you something in this film. Now, again, last night, right before he came out to watch the film, I told Shad, either this movie is going to be boring as hell, okay? Because I remember at first, like that first part of Magic Mike, I was like, oh, God. What's happening? It's taking forever. It's a lot of character development. And then finally, when they start taking off their clothes, it's like, oh, okay, well, there you go. This is why hello. The trailer did not show all of this talking. This is like a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie. Let's quit the chit chat and let's get the clothes off. Okay?
Well, to be fair, I felt that way with The Unforgiven. I was like,
what?
Can we quit? Not take the clothes off.
Oh.
But can we hurry up and get to the part where Clint Eastwood is going to murder the shit out of this entire town? Because we have been waiting for this forever now. And finally, when he got to it, it was like, oh, thank God, he's killing the shit out of these people. It's amazing.
Yeah, you got to hold in there. So, yeah, that whole Unforgiven thing kind of like threw me off my fucking thing, my whole spiel. But now I'm reeling myself back. So the other part was like, or I'm going to be so fucking scared that I'm going to have to I should have bought diapers with me, okay? Because I'm going to be shitting myself. So really I had 2 completely on the opposite spectrum. And guys, I'm going to tell you where I landed. I landed in neither spot. I'm not even in the middle. I don't even say I'm in the middle. I'm out of the whole box, out of the whole line, however you want to go from one end to the other. I'm completely out of it in another space. And there will be spoilers. I'm just going to throw that now. Spoiler alert. So you've heard all of our chit-chattery at the beginning, and now is the time for you to...
A little bit of gibber, a little bit of jabber. I think you were doing the gibbering.
Oh, sure was. And you just have to now leave, and then watch the film and then come back, okay? So, the movie starts like a John Carpenter film. We're gonna show you some bullshitteries. We're gonna show you a street. We're gonna show you a room. This room over here. We're gonna walk up the stairs. We're all the angles. And you right off the bat, okay, this is the ghost, chilling, just walking through the whole house, right? And there's nothing in this house. And it's a fucking huge house. I'm talking about, this house was probably, $2 million. There was no way that this house cost anything less than that because it was massive, okay? And it was gorgeous. To the point where there's a point where, the painters come, and I'm like, what the fuck are they painting? This is turnkey, okay? Ready to just jump right in, move in, throw the furniture in there.
But that shows you how much money these people had, that the turnkey ready house wasn't good enough for them.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think they only showed them painting one room and discussing painting another. So maybe they only painted those 2 rooms. Everything else was gorgeous. And, you know, then you see that there's a realtor. She's late. She's jumping in. And not to get into the scene by scene, but the family comes in. She shows them the house, and it's a family of 4.
I love her thing where they're like, "Oh, have you been here long?" And she's like, "Oh, I always get here early." She literally took her coat off 2 seconds before they arrived.
Yeah, for real, like insane. So the family of 4 is Lucy Liu.
Chris Sullivan's the guy, and he is familiar. He's from that show This Is Us and some other things. And the kids, what's this? You know, I was kind of surprised because I wasn't expecting the 2 teenagers to be such a big part of the thing. I thought it was going to be more like the parents. The kids in this are played by Kalina Liang, plays the daughter Chloe, and Lucas. I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw on that here. Eddie Madej plays Tyler, the boy, and they couldn't be more different. Like the son is like the star athlete, the outgoing, the popular kid, and the daughter is an emotional wreck because her best friend died under mysterious circumstances recently.
Supposedly drug overdose.
Yeah.
And the character Kalina's Chloe, yeah. And Eddie is you did I'm gonna say that. And Eddie is Tyler. Well, we're gonna talk about them. I'm gonna reiterate because we're gonna talk about the characters, their real names. So Chloe and Tyler, the teens. And we're just gonna, Rebecca is Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan is Chris. Chris, did he have to act that much? They're calling him his whole name the whole time. So, the whole thing is, like we said, it's a POV from the ghost. So, what I want to say right off the bat is, if you're going into this film, listening to these critics or whatever the jibber jabber is about the film, about how scary it is or how unsettling it is or whatever, I honestly would not even go if you're expecting some kind of like paranormal activity or some kind of like random, like the same like horror like movie about ghosts. This movie is not for you, okay? Just stay out of it because you're gonna be immensely disappointed. I did not think this film had its moments. I would say it's more of a thriller, like most of Soderbergh's stuff. He has his thrillers. I would say it's more in that vein than anything else. I appreciated the uniqueness of it in that sense, and also, and this is going to sound weird, and the vulnerability of the ghost. The ghost has a safe place. And that safe place, ironically, which you don't know this to begin with until later on when the film, transpires. There's a bedroom, one of the bedrooms, and it's color like peach colored. And the ghost is hanging out in the closet. And that's where we see the ghost start its transition from room to room. It's from the closet. And then it goes back into the closet. And that's where the ghost is. And you come to find out, of course, that that's one of the rooms that's getting painted. It's getting painted over like a bluish gray. And it's the daughter. It becomes the daughter's room, Chloe's room. And the ghost is constantly hiding or comfortable within that space of the closet, which gets explained later on in the film. And you know what? Now I was like, oh, it's gonna be a spoiler episode. I'm like, should it be? I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. We're gonna wing it. So there's something weird going on between the mom. She has some high profile job, and you're never gonna find out what the whole thing is about. The film is more about this ghost wanting to be part of these people's lives. It's not there really to terrorize, to siphon, to possess. That's not the goal of the ghost.
Yeah, you can see right off the bat. It seems like it just kind of wants to interact. It wants to be seen, but not be seen at the same time. It wants them to feel its presence, but not.
No pun intended.
Yeah, not be too overt about it most of the time.
Yeah.
It does little things. Like, really the only kind of like typical ghosty thing you see it do at first is the daughter leaves all of her books on the bed, and it just closes them all and stacks them up neatly on her desk.
That, now, I'm not gonna lie, about, I don't know, 20 minutes into the movie, I was laughing and making jokes and being an asshole and like pretending to be the ghost, like use the ghost voice, you know, and whatever, because I was like, what is going on in this movie? Like, I wouldn't say it's slow, it's evenly paced, but it takes time to unravel. And it does build the tension of it all. And like in any ghost movie, you always gotta start where life is normal, and then maybe there's some conflict, or someone's dealing with its internal conflict or external conflict or something going on that kind of triggers the ghost. The ghost knows it's gonna get, you know, the energies if it starts fucking around with things. Then it starts fucking around with things, and then the people are like, oh shit, there's some weird shit going on here. And then that's how the movie gets picked up, and then you're into, like, you know, all the craziness that's gonna ensue, right? This one, it does more or less the same thing. It takes its time. Like you said, it's not really messing in their lives only. I made a joke, like, at least it was a neat ghost. I appreciated that it cleaned up. Even though it looked like she was in the middle of, like, her schoolwork. Like, she just took a break to take a shower. And then at one point, I thought it was, like, a pervert ghost. You know, I thought it was going to enter the shower when she was showering. There was a lot of different things that I was picking at and being a fucking asshole about in the film.
Yeah, but it didn't do any of those.
It didn't. It cleaned up, and it was a neat ghost for that moment.
Yeah, they cleaned up, and it was good.
But it seems it was very attached to Chloe. It didn't really hover and whatever. And Chloe, because they say that those that have experienced death, in some way, shape, or form, where death affected them, that you're more sensitive to ghosts or to a presence like that. And she, right off the bat, feels that as soon as she enters the house. She knows like something's, and it gets stronger and stronger
as it goes along,
as the time passes.
And she, of course, gets convinced right away that it's her friend.
Nadia. And the brother is like a star swim athlete, right? He's like an athlete, whatever. He's shit hot. Lucy Liu's a fucking bitch mom. Like, she's just an asshole. I did not care for her character. She very clearly is that mom that's like, we had the first kid, and I love that one. We had the second one. That one's yours, Dad. You can have the girl. Yeah, I don't want to deal with the girl. I got no interest in this girl whatsoever. Nope. She's nothing like me. She's just a sack of bones. I could care less. I need a winner. I'm about winning. I want a winner in my life. And that's what her son was. And he was everything to her. There is even a moment, I mean, the ghost obviously is in a lot of their moments, but there's a moment that you see the interaction between the mom, Lucy Liu, who seems like she's had a bit to drink, and she's like pouring her heart out on her son, saying like, you would do anything for those that you loved. Like, you would, she didn't say sacrifice, but you would. She said you'd do anything for him. Yeah. You don't know how far you'll go and all this. So you got the feeling, we straight up find out later, she's done something illegal at her job. She's committed a crime that she could go to jail for. Yeah, and the husband gets worried, and he's like, I'm going to go to jail, and he seeks some advice through a friend, but like, you know. Yeah, he's like that, I got a friend that's asking, if your wife commits a crime, yeah, are you liable for that too? Yeah, so like, he's on his way out. Because to be fair, they don't really have a good relationship. She is very controlling. She doesn't even cook dinner, guys. I mean, I know he could cook dinner too. No one was cooking dinner in the house. I don't care who it was. It didn't have to be her. It's just no one. They ate takeout all the time. I mean, I guess it's 21st century, just eating out, Ubering everything. I don't know. I don't have that kind of life, so I'm not Ubering everything or anything at all. So that's what was going on. You know, you have this big house, this beautiful kitchen, and it was just a typical like they're not really going to use that kitchen. What's even the whole point of having a kitchen for anyone that makes a certain amount of money? There should be no kitchens. There should just be like a refrigerator with a wall, and then that's it. There should be no stove, no oven. They're never going to cook in there. Unless, obviously, they're having a live-in chef. Okay, great. Then, obviously. But the kitchen is never going to get used. Now that I'm off the whole rant about the kitchen. The ghost is very protective of the sister. I don't want to say protective. I'm just like all in her business, but then again, it lives in the closet, so it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not be up in the sister's business when you're living in the closet.
Yeah, I don't know if the closet's warm. I don't know if maybe the radiator was closer than another place. I mean, there was 90 radiators throughout the house.
Yeah, the house was well heated. I gotta say that. Jesus.
It sure was. It sure was. And it was like 3 stories. I mean, the house itself is just amazing. They made a point, a lot of things in the movie. When you watch this, and if you've watched enough, right, you start picking up like, okay, this is. There's this whole thing on how the glass and the 100-year-old what the hell was
silver nitrate glass?
Silver nitrate glass that happens to be in the living room, like above
the
fireplace, and there's some other glass, like some other mirror in the house that has the same glass, and it's a very special glass. And then later on comes into play, the glass itself. Steven Soderbergh has said that this film is more like The Shining in a sense than Longlegs, and compared to like horror, he doesn't see this film as a horror film. I mean, he's right. It's not a horror film. It is very sad. I actually decided I'm not going to give away what the whole thing is. It is extremely fucking sad movie. It's you can feel the sadness over like just everyone in the house is suffering in one way, shape, way, or form, with the exception of the brother. Yeah, except the son.
He's living his best life. The dad's sad about the way the mom's treating everyone, and the crime going on, and his what's going to happen to him. The daughter's sad because her friend died. The mom's upset because
and then no one cares about her. No one asks about her. Everyone's focusing on the brother. No one's ever focusing on her or asking her, for a long time until the father starts. It's like, I guess when he gets to the point, like, I've talked to my wife about this. I'm trying to seek help for my daughter. She could give a fuck less. So I'm going to step in and just check in with my daughter and see if she's okay. And just be with her. Yeah,
everybody in the house has got their problems except for Tyler. He's just living his best life. He's on the swim team. He's
an asshole at school, doing catfishing girls, he's making bitches' lives, terrible.
So he's the only one that's really enjoying life at the moment.
And he has a friend named Ryan who looks like a mini James Spader. Like, I saw him, I was like, is this James Spader's son? Like, what's going on there? And Steven Soderbergh has worked with him many times, so I feel like when he came into the audition, whoever was the casting director was like, this kid kind of looks like James Spader, and I know Steven Soderbergh's all about it. So you got the role.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
The film did take a unexpected turn.
Yeah, right near the end, things took a very different direction than what I was expecting, and it kind of realized it.
You can say it. I've changed my mind again.
Oh my god!
You can spoil it.
Crazy with this.
Go ahead. You can say what's good if you want to.
No, let's not say what's going on.
Fine.
We've done enough spoiler stuff already. We don't need to spoil the end of it, but. When you find out what it is, you're like, oh, shit, I did not see that coming.
No.
I thought a lot of things were going to happen, but I did not expect what happens.
Grimace comes onto the scene, and everyone has a Grimace shake, and it's over for them.
No. That would be cool, but no, that didn't happen. But, yeah. So, the ending, this is one of those movies that the ending really brings it all together, and you're like, oh, okay, and it makes everything you saw throughout the rest of the movie. It's kind of like, I'll say this, it's like The Sixth Sense. When at the end of it, you're looking, after you find out Bruce Willis is a dead guy, you start looking back and going, okay, and you see all these things going on. Now, I'm not saying everybody in this movie is dead or anything like that.
No. funny that you should mention that, because I guess maybe in this Mashable like .com or whatever interview that they had, David Koop said he's never seen The Sixth Sense. Now, I can believe that because there was a person in my life I worked with ages ago who had never seen the original Star Wars. Like, didn't even, it was like, I've never seen it. And that to me was like, are you insane? Like, that can't be a real thing. But there are people that don't care about movies at all. They don't watch anything, like, movie-wise. And, you know, or maybe not into, like, a certain genre. So, okay. So, for him, he said he's never seen it. So, I guess someone out there has made the correlation, like, or, you know, has said, oh, it kind of reminds me of this. But, yeah, it got me. I'm not gonna lie. I shedded many a tear. I was crying like a baby. So, like I said, it wasn't boring as hell. And it wasn't scary as hell. It was a completely different feeling. And it just leaves you just, I don't know. I don't want to say forever changed. That's a bit much. But you think about things like that, you know? Like the other thing I told you yesterday was, you know, oh, am I gonna just be chilling in the bedroom, like, or somewhere in the house and like overlooking my shoulder, like thinking there's a fucking ghost looking at me, like just I'm washing dishes or whatever, like the presence is around.
It's possible.
You know?
Yeah, but like I said, the ending really ties it all together and you realize exactly what's been going on the whole time, and it's pretty cool.
Now, the reason why we decided to move forward with doing this podcast is because it is being sold as a horror film. That's a thing.
It's a psychological horror kind of thing. There's ghosts, and it does have some creepy, tense moments in it towards the end.
It is. I would say more thriller, and I'm really getting like whatever about it, like, because of the like sticker would be like, or if it was like in a section, you would go find it. I wouldn't put this in the horror section, even within like subgenre of like ghosts.
This is kind of like Poltergeist light,
super light. Like my daughter could probably see. Well, when she gets older. Not now. Fine. I guess. I don't know. Have you seen Poltergeist? This is scary. The fucking clown.
That's what I'm saying. Poltergeist light.
Super light. Fine. Poltergeist light.
So yeah.
More realistic, I would say.
I'm going to give this one a 3.5 knives. It's good.
I also give it 3.5 knives. And I'm glad that we watched it. And I wanted to throw it out there. It is an excellent film to watch. I think so. Now, I'm going to tell you that the consensus of the people that we were watching it with, I wouldn't say that people are walking away happy. There were 2 individuals that went to the restroom with me that were, I would say probably, I don't know, maybe mid to late teens, maybe 20. I don't know, somewhere in that. But let's say 15 to 20 years old. And they hated the film. They were like, oh, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. So you may have that. You just never know how it's going to hit somebody. They have seen a lot of
movies. They don't just think this is the worst movie they've ever seen.
That's actually very true. That's very true.
Yeah,
but
I've got some things to show them.
Like I said, if you're going in with one frame of mind that it's going to be one thing, and you see this, it's like Nosferatu. You go in thinking like, which you should already know, like Eggers, like hello. But if you're going in thinking like this way, it's not going to be what you thought it was going to be. It's something completely different. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just not meeting that expectation you had when you came in with. And I came in with that expectation, whether it was going to be like or and it was that. Well, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.